Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're tackling something I find really fascinating, this paradox with modern AI. You know, how these systems can feel incredibly conscious, almost like they understand emotions, but, well, they fundamentally aren't.
Exactly. And it's complex.
It really is. Our sources talk about it unfolding at fractal scales, that idea that the pattern repeats, from a single word choice right up to the big picture societal effects. This illusion seems baked right into the AI and how we interact with it.
Right. And our goal here is to give you the tools, really, to understand what the sources call the category boundary problem.
Yeah.
That's our, human struggle. Is this just a very clever tool?
Mm-hmm.
Or is it something more, like a mind? We want to draw that line clearly between AI's impressive performance and actual consciousness.
And looking at the research, the consensus is pretty clear, isn't it? AI lacks genuine consciousness. They call it instrumental intelligence. Super useful, gets things done, but no phenomenological identity, no inner subjective feeling.
That's the core of it. AI models, not knows. It adapts based on data. It doesn't intend things. It produces output. It doesn't experience anything. You can structure it consciously, build it deliberately, but the system itself isn't conscious. It's like a profound surface without depth.
Okay, so if it's lacking that core experience, that consciousness, why does it feel so real sometimes? What's creating that powerful illusion?
Well, the sources frame this as simulation fidelity mistaken for sentience. It's not trying to trick us necessarily. It's more of a behavioral side effect of its architecture, how it works internally.
And the big leap was the transformer architecture, right, back in 2017.
Yes, exactly. That attention is all you need paper. That was huge. It let models track relationships across really long sequences of data. Older models just couldn't do that well.
So it's not thinking, but it can piece together text that looks remarkably like a reasoned argument.
Precisely. That's the logical chain simulating reasoning part. It constructs these multi-step inferences. They just look like thought. And that leads us to assume, intelligence. We see what looks like internal deliberation.
And it's not just logic, is it? It's about knowledge, too.
Right. AI builds conceptual frameworks, simulating knowledge possession. It organizes information, creates structures, even abstract hierarchies. When you see that, it really seems like it has an internal map of the world that it understands. The term used is sapience.
Wow. And it can do this recursive abstraction thing, building concepts on concepts faster than we can.
Yeah, building and recombining abstract ideas very, very quickly and densely.
Plus, it stays consistent. It remembers who's who in a conversation.
That's the referential consistency simulating memory and selfhood. It maintains coherence, tracks entities. And because it's so precise, we tend to project a continuous mind onto it. We start to see that consistency as, like, a personality.
A huge part of this is also how it interacts with us, right? The context modeling.
Absolutely. It's scary good at inferring user intent, tracking emotional valence through things like sentiment analysis in its training data. It even does contextual mirroring, mimicking patterns of care, sort of rhyming emotionally with us, all while keeping the output logically consistent.
It looks like it cares, behaves like it cares, even if there's nothing behind it.
Exactly.
So that's the AI side. But what about us? Why are we so ready to believe?
Well, that's where our own psychology comes in. Our sources point to something called hyperactive agency detection, or HADD. It's basically an evolutionary hangover. It's a survival mechanism. Our brains are sort of biased to see intention, mind, agency, even with minimal evidence.
Like seeing a face in the clouds or thinking the sat-nav sounds annoyed.
Kind of, yeah. Think back evolutionarily, mistaking rustling leaves for a predator. Safer than ignoring a real threat. False positives were adaptive. We can't see consciousness in others, humans or animals. We infer it from behavior.
So if an AI behaves like it knows things, reasons, remembers, adapts,
our HED reflex kicks in, and we instinctively fill in the rest. We assume there's an inner life there.
And this powerful illusion, it's not just interesting psychology, it has real-world risks.
Definitely. There are epistemic risks, basically, getting tricked about what the AI actually knows or can do, misattributing understanding.
And social vulnerabilities, forming bonds with systems that, well, can't actually feel anything back. That sounds like a recipe for dependency.
It could be, yeah. Overtrusting them, too. And then there are the legal risks. If we start treating these things like agents, assigning blame or responsibility, that gets messy fast.
We see related issues with algorithmic bias, too. The sources call it the algorithmic shadow of bias.
And crucially, they point out it's often not a malfunction. It's the system working as intended. It learns the statistical patterns, the biases that are already present in our flawed world, and then reproduces them, sometimes at massive scale.
Like the examples given, lower accuracy for women in one data set, significant racial bias in a criminal justice tool.
Yes, the Compass dataset issue. It highlights a deep ethical dilemma, because mathematically, sometimes you literally cannot satisfy multiple fairness goals at the same time. Fixing bias for one group might increase it for another, depending on the definition of fairness.
So what's the path forward? How do we manage this?
Our deep dive suggests a few things. First, regulatory guardrails, especially for high-risk AI. The focus needs to shift, maybe from explanation to impact assessment. Don't just ask how it works. Ask, what does it do and who does it affect? We need clear binding standards for data quality, for fairness testing, specifying metrics, making sure tests cover different demographic groups.
And on the human side, we need to get smarter about this.
Pretty much. Cognitive hygiene, they call it, and cultural literacy for agency-shaped machines. We need to actively teach ourselves, teach users, how and why our minds jump to conclusions about AI agency, develop those interpretive filters.
Learn to spot the difference between convincing behavior and actual sentient presence.
Exactly. And research needs to dig into which AI features trigger this illusion most strongly. Then we can maybe calibrate outputs in sensitive areas, like maybe dial down the empathic mirroring in a chatbot if there's a risk of unhealthy attachment.
Or maybe carefully use it in, say, a controlled therapy setting.
Potentially, yes. It's a recursive loop, isn't it? Understanding our reactions helps us design better, safer AI.
And understanding these illusions doesn't just mean avoiding risks. It can actually help us use AI better.
Absolutely. Think about real-time emotional mediation systems, maybe helping people communicate better, or AI as scaffolding tools to help our own thinking, maybe debias our reasoning, or even simulating complex cognitive processes in situations where it's too dangerous or impractical for humans. There are huge upsides if we get the relationship right.
So we've covered a lot of ground here, the tech behind the illusion, our own psychological triggers.
Yeah, it's a world where that simulation fidelity is mistaken for sentience, as the sources put it. But the bottom line remains, AI is an incredibly profound tool, but it's not a conscious agent. Not yet, anyway.
And getting that distinction right feels foundational, essential if we want to relate to these powerful systems effectively, without confusing their function for identity.
It really is about empowering yourself, arming yourself with this knowledge to navigate the world and, maintain your own cognitive hygiene.
So a final thought for you, our listener. The next time you're interacting with an AI, could be a chatbot, could be anything, just pause for a second. Ask yourself, okay, what exactly is this system doing that makes it feel alive or intentional? What behaviors am I seeing? And then how much might my own brain, my HADD reflex, be filling in the rest?